Hi. Okay, now. Yeah, I think now it's working. So let me wait 20 seconds so I can check. Hi. Yeah. Okay. So, well, I think it's time. So we should be starting. So yeah, let's go with it. So yeah, welcome to our third lesson in this Codoozer masterclass. So last week we talked about designing user interfaces. Okay, so today we are going to keep developing user interfaces, but we are going to do a step further. Okay, we are going to explain how to put those interfaces in action. Okay, so we are going to make the app more interactive. So we will ask the user for information, and yeah, and then we will make calculations. We will change things in real time in the screen. Okay, so our interfaces will be alive. Okay, so for doing that, I will be doing some example. It's going to be like some small app which can be useful for salespeople. For example, imagine a hardware store. In fact, we will do a hardware store budget maker. Okay, so the salesperson can create a budget for you. For the customer. Okay, so we will be introducing um, like forms with input texts so that the user, the user of the app, not the customer in the store, but the user can write something on a text. Then we will be doing selectors. So a select or a selector is something where you can click on it and then get some options and select one of them. And depending on what option the user selects, we will be changing the content of an image. Then we also will add a discount selector. And then we will get the final price, okay, based on calculations that we will do depending on the amount the user enter in the input text, and also the option that he selected, and also the discount. Okay, so we're going to do all of that. Okay, and in case we have time, we will also see how to get a screenshot from the app and save it into the external memory. Okay, so that the salesperson can share the whole budget with the customer or something like that. Okay, so yeah, let's keep starting. Okay, by the way, I know that there are some people watching. Okay, but I only see your names in case you say something on the chat. Okay, so if you want to say hello or something, then I will know who's there. Okay. But okay, anyway, I will assume that you know something about Codoozer. At least you saw the previous two webinars. Okay, because I will be explaining everything I do, but if you watch the previous webinar, then it will be useful. Okay, so if you haven't watched the previous webinar and you are watching this on YouTube, not live, but tomorrow or next week, you should watch first the lesson 2. Okay, so okay, I have this empty project. I'm going to start adding some group, because I'm going to put everything inside this group. I'm going to call it like main body, and you'll see what why I like to create this group. Okay, well, first, because I like to add some padding so that, and things are like a bit separated from the screen. Some people create apps that the text is like touching the edge of the phone, and this is really awful. Okay, you should always avoid that. Okay, so yeah, I always put a group, and then inside that group I use a padding so that everything I put inside is separated from the edge of the screen. Okay, so yeah, now I have my group. Let me put it on the top. Okay, never trust the simulator. Okay, you should always use the v-align parameter. Okay, so well, first I'm going to add some input text. Okay, so well, basically this app, I'm going to create budgets for installing hardwood floors. Okay, imagine you are in a hardware store and the salesperson, I mean, you go to the salesperson and you want to know how much is putting hardwood floor in your house. Okay, so he will ask you for how many square feet and everything, and then you will select the type of floor you want. Okay, and based on that, it will calculate the final price. Okay, so first I'm going to enter an input text to enter the square feet amount. So basically, I just need to add a new component, and then select input text. Okay, now you see I have this box where the user can write something. Okay, but since I'm going to only enter a name, I mean a number, I don't really need it to be this big. So first I'm going to make it like maybe 25% should be enough. Okay, let's align it on the center. Let's put a name here like input square feet. I'm not sure if this is the short name of square feet or maybe only SQ. I don't know. Then I will put a hint. The hint is this like help text that you can display here. Square feet, maybe it's too long. Square, which is the less short format for square feet? Is it SQF? Let me check. Square feet, short name, FT2. Okay. FT2. Okay, that's should be good. Then let's use a text align center. Okay, I mean, I guess this doesn't work for a hint, maybe. Okay, then I will add, let's do it big. I mean, since it's only a number, let's use a big number. Okay, 32. And then we can, well, basically that's all we need. Okay, so what we want is to, I mean, everything the user enters, we want to save that in a reference. Do you remember in lesson 1 what references were? So references are places or like virtual boxes where we can store information in order to use that later. Okay, so I'm going to, in order to do that, you have to use this parameter called source. Okay, this is telling the app that the everything the user types in this input text is going to be stored in this reference. Okay, and also if the reference has already a value when we launch this view, then that value will be it will be placed on the input text. Okay, so I'm going to use a property. So let's use add property dot, and then we can use ft2, the square feet. Okay, so here in this reference is where we are going to store wherever value the user types in this box. Okay, and well, let me also add this parameter called format. Okay, with this parameter, we are going to change the type of keyboard that the app will show. Okay, since we only need to enter numbers, we are going to use, well, we can use number or decimal. Okay, I guess we can use number because we don't want to use decimal numbers. Okay, because I mean in case it's a house. Normally when you buy a hardwood floor, you know the number of square feet. I mean, not decimals, right? Okay, so yeah, so with this, everything the user types here, I mean in this box, will be stored here. Okay, so for this first example, we are going to display, I mean, I want to show you how we can connect this input text with another component, which is going to be only a text. Okay, so whatever it types here, it will be displayed on the other text. So let me put the result text, but I'm going to use it inside a group. Okay, so here's a group, and I'm going to call this group result. Okay, then I'm going to use a background color for this whole group, like solid, and it can be primary light, for example. Okay, and inside this group, I'm going to put like two texts. Okay, one text will be a fixed text with it's a label that will say like amount or final price, something like that. So let me inside this group, let me add another text. Okay, and this is label total. I don't really like this light green color, so let me change it to primary dark, for example. Okay. So here we are going to enter like final price. Okay. Let's use a font size like 32 as well. No, maybe too big. Well, in the phone, I think it's not going to be this big. It's going to be a bit smaller. Okay, so you shouldn't always trust the sizing here on the simulator. Okay, I think in the phone it's going to be a bit smaller. But anyway, let's try 28. Okay, then let's add, you see that this text is like touching the limit of the box. So I'm going to add a padding into the group. Okay, and let's say like 12. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so, well, now I'm going to add another text. Let me just clone this one. And this is going to be like final price. Okay, but you see that now, well, let's add some value like 100. This is the default price, okay? So you see that it's one below the other. So I want to put it on the side. So I'm going to change this group to horizontal. Okay, and then the first text, well, the final price, I want to use a wrap with. Okay, so the box is going to wrap the content. But then the label total, I'm going to use a fill so that it will spread to use. I mean, I could use also wrap and then move it to the left. Okay, but in case the text is longer, I just want to put limits on this component. Okay, so and then I need to put this h aligned to the end. Okay, so I will make sure that this text is going to the end. Okay, well, I also could add the dollar sign. Okay, so let's use like label currency. I will put it before, and it's going to be only this. Okay, and also wrap and h-align end. Okay, now you see these two components are aligned to the left, to the right, because they are on the end. Okay, and they have a width of wrap. Okay, so the first component is going to fill the whole remaining space. You see the green box? Okay. Okay, so, but I just entered this 100 here, but this is the default text. But what I really want to display in this text is the final price, okay? So the final price will depend on the amount of square feet and also the selected hardwood floor and also the discount, okay? But for this first example, I'm just going to add this source. Okay, so with this parameter, I'm telling the component to change its content if some reference changes. Okay, so if I enter here like add property.ft2, okay, whenever the content stored inside this reference changes, then this component text will show that text. I mean, so will show the content of that reference. Okay, so now we have a full example. So we have an input text. So in case the user types something here in this box, then this property will change its value. Okay, and since this component is listening to that same reference, whenever the value is changed, then the text displayed in this text component will change. Okay, so yeah, and finally let's add some margin to this on the top, like 48 or 64, 48. Okay, so let me download the CDC just in case and export to APK. So I'm going to show you on my phone what happens now if I change the text. Okay. Okay, I shouldn't take very long, like maybe 1 minute. My computer is kind of frozen. Okay, now let me remove all the notifications in the meantime. Okay, and well, maybe it takes 1 extra minute. Oh no, no, it's ready. Okay, so let me scan it and download it and open Visor so I can show you my phone. Um, okay, let me check. I don't know what happens with Visor today. Let's try again. Oh, it always works, but I'm not sure what's happening today with Visor. No Android. Maybe it's my cable. Maybe it decided not to work today. Let me check if I have a different cable. Yeah, I think I have one. All right. Wow, we have problem here. Can't find your. I mean, this is standard thing. Connected. Okay, let me try if I have the SVR. Okay, maybe if I put my IP address. really sorry, I don't know what's happening. Maybe I should restart the phone. Let me try. Okay. Okay, well, in the meantime, I'm going to continue with the example. Okay, we will try this as soon as I can connect the phone. Okay, but believe me that if the user changes this text, this will be changed. Okay, so I'm going to start with I'm going to follow the tutorial. So now next thing I want to enter, I want to put a floor selector. Okay, so I have these 4 floors. Okay, so these are the ones that I want the user to select. So let me create a new group. I always like to create different groups for every area on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to create a group for my selector, and the selector will include the selector itself, but also the image. So I'm going to call it like group floor. It's going to be vertical in this case. It's going to be below, no, above the result. Okay, so here I'm going to also use margin of 48, for example. Okay, and well, inside this group, I'm going to add first, well, let's start with the image. Okay, so I'm going to use these 4 images. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I can just drag and drop them here. Now they are here on res. So I could use, for example, like the basic one as default. Okay. So now I want to, well, let's change this like floor image. This is my ID. Okay, so I can select it. I mean, this is only for me. So when I have this closed, then I can see what I have here. I can see the ID here. Okay, so yeah, 100%. So I want this image to be interactive. So whenever the user changes the selection, I want the image to change. Okay, so let's add some select component. Okay, it can be above the image. It's going to be called like floor select, for example. Okay, and here I have, well, when you enter a selector, okay, you have this parameter called options. So here's where you are going to enter all the options that the user can pick. Okay, so I'm going to use in this example these 4: the basic, the Aberdeen, Newcastle, and Jaén. It's called in Spanish, maybe Jaén or something like that. So let me add 4 options. Okay, so for every single option we have a label and we have a value. Okay, so the label is the text we are going to display on the screen. I mean, what the user is going to read. Okay, you can use multi-language, but I think there's some error. So if I press here on the plus button, it will crash. Okay, we have to fix this issue. Okay, but now you can only enter one language, but I guess soon you will be able to use multi-language. Okay, so let's start with the basic. And the value parameter is the thing that is going to be stored in a reference. Okay, because the same thing as the input text, I can use a source in this select. So whenever the user changes an option, the value of the selected option will be stored in the reference I use here. Okay, so I'm going to use a property called floor. Okay, so if the user changes the option, this reference is going to store the value that the user selected. Okay, so Well, you can use here, you can use 1, 2, 3, 4, you can use A, B, C, D, you can use basic, Aberdeen, Newcastle. I mean, you can enter anything, okay? But in my case, I'm going to put here the name of the image file, the image file, basic.png, okay? This is the value of this option, okay? Then I will add another one, which is going to be like Aberdeen, and the value it's going to be aberdeen.png. So if the user selects this option, then I will change the value of add property.floor with this value aberdeen.png. Then I'm going to use Jaén or Jean, or I don't know how to pronounce this. This is a city in Spain. So Jaén.png. And finally, we will use Newcastle. So the label is where you put everything nice, okay? With capital letters and everything. It's going to be newcastle.png. Okay, so I have these 4 options. Okay, so now if the user changes an option, then I will store the image file name here. Okay, but there's a problem with this. So the thing is that remember, I think it was in lesson 2, I was talking about or maybe lesson 1, the rest folder. Okay, so the thing is that these files are going to be included in the app only if I use them in a file parameter inside an image component. Okay, so in this case, I'm using this basic.png as the default file for this image component. Okay, so among these 4 images, only the basic.png is going to really be copied into the app. Okay, so yeah, so if I want to connect this selector with this floor image component, well, I need to, it's going to be the same as with the input text. I need to use this property as a source in the image. Okay, so if I change the value of this property, and I'm changing it with the selector, so if the value of this property is changed, this component will try to find a file inside the app with the name that is stored inside the property. Okay, so if I change to newcastle.png, it will try to look for an image file called newcastle.png. Okay, but the thing is that that file is not going to be included inside the app. Okay, so if I want to include all the files inside the app, even if I'm not using them as a file parameter, I need to put them inside the assets folder, like ASSETS assets folder. Now I can copy my 4 images here. Okay, you see now I have these 4, so I can remove the previous ones that I uploaded. Okay, so I need to have them here inside the assets folder. Okay, so now it should work. Well, now I have to change this route. Okay, so yeah, so now we have our selector, and when the user changes the option, we will change the value in this property. So since the component, it's always listening to that. It's always like watching to this reference. So if we change the value of the reference, then the component will know that the value changed. It will get the value and it will try to look for a file with that value. The name of the file should be the same as that value. Okay, and that's the reason I use the name of the file as a value in our selector. Okay, because this name will be stored in this property, and then this component will check the property. Okay, so let me check if I can. I restarted the phone. Let me try if it works. No. Maybe I have to start Android Studio. Let me check with that. Well, I think I have another way to show you my phone, but no, not here. Okay, one second, because I think it's something related with the Android SDK. So sometimes when I open Android Studio, it detects my phone. So let's try with that. No, it's not. Connect your device, scan devices. Wow, I don't know. Ah, I don't know. I think it's something with my computer, but it was very important to show you the app. But I mean, open ABT. I mean, I could restart my computer, but I don't want to stop the webinar, so I don't know how to do it. I mean, it's been working the whole time, but no target. Okay, let's try if I can create a simulator. Phone next. Network address ADV. Okay, let's ADV. One moment. How to restart from Android Studio? Okay. Press enter. Is it okay? Open command prompt. Maybe if I do this, it will restart. One moment. It's not here. I don't know where it is. Users library Android SDK. Okay, maybe here. Users. One moment. Maybe I don't really know where it is. Platform phones. Okay. Platforms. DB. Okay. ADB. ADV. Okay, I think maybe I got it. Skill server. Okay. Skill server. No. Okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. Is this a file? ADB. Skill server. No. Wow. Maybe this build tools. CDG. No. Okay, I'm really sorry. I don't know how to show you my phone. Maybe with the IP address I can connect it. Fine. Okay, I'm trying to my IP, find my IP address. Fine. No, it's not even working. It seems I only, okay, now I have my IP. Okay. No, it's not working. It doesn't really seem to be doing anything. Okay, I think maybe if I restart my computer, it will be faster, right? So, okay, let me stop the webinar for 1 minute and I will try to restore my computer, okay? And then I will continue the webinar. Okay, and let's see if that works because I really need to show you my phone. So 1 moment, I will start and okay, can you hear me now? I think I finally got my phone to work. Okay. So, well, since we already finished this example, let me generate a new version, okay? And export. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to not only to show the first example, okay, I'm going to show, the whole thing. Okay, now it should also work. The image selector should work. Okay, so let me try to install. It's not ready yet. I had to restart my computer 2 times in order for it to work. Okay, so while it's generating the APK, I'm going to explain what I'm going to do next. Okay, so basically I want to calculate the final price depending on the amount of square feet, but also the hardwood selector. Okay, because each type of hard floor will have a different price. Okay, so let me scan this. Okay, now you can see my phone. Open. Well, I have the amount of square feet here with my hint text. Here is center, you see. And then I have the final price. So I'm going basically to enter some amount, and we should automatically see how this text change. Remember why? Because changing this text is changing the value on the property, and since this text component is always watching and listening to that reference, so if the value changes, then this text will change. Okay, and then we have our selector. Okay, it's different color from the simulator here, but we have to I need to talk with the Java, the web developer of Codoozer. Okay, he's my business partner, Carlos, but we have to agree which is the color we have to show in every different place. Okay, so if now I change for example, to Aberdeen, you see that my picture changes. Okay. Okay. So, now this price is not changing depending on this. So let's try to do this easily. Okay. So let's imagine that I have maybe, let's do it simple, $1 for the first floor, $2 for the second one, 3 for the third one, and 4 for the fourth. Let's assume that that's the price per square feet. Okay. So what I will do is, for my selector, I'm going to use this unchanged event. Okay, so I'm going to change the price of the floor depending on the option. Okay, so whenever now here in the unchanged, I can add as many functions as I want. So before the first function, this value will have a new value. Okay, if the user changes this selector. Okay, so what I'm going to do is like set a property, like set this property dot floor price like $1, but I only want to do this in case the user selected the basic floor. Okay, so I'm going to use this parameter for the function called if. Okay, so this means that this function will be only done if if this condition is true. Okay, so what I want to compare is this property dot floor. So if the value inside property dot floor is basic.png. Okay, so if this conditional fits, then I will set 1 to property.floor price. Okay, you see this? Okay, this is a bit complex maybe for people not familiar with programming. Okay, you know that Codoozer is for non-programmers. Okay, but I always said that you have to start thinking like a programmer. Okay, you are not going to program. I mean, this is no coding. Okay, but some things you have to think like a programmer, and this is one of those scenarios. Okay, I mean the conditions. So set this value in case this is true. Okay, this is what we are doing here. Okay, so let's clone this function. So then we will have set the price of 2 in case which was the second option? Aberdeen. Okay, so if the value is aberdeen.png, then set the price to 2. Okay, well, you can change if you want to do different comparisons. Instead of is, you can use is not, less than, or more than. Okay, so if the value is more than 3, then let's do this. Okay, you can do things like that. Okay, let's clone, and the price of 3 if property.floor is hen.png. Okay, and finally, let's set this property.floor price to 4 if property.floor is Newcastle. Okay, this is the price per square feet. Okay, so whenever the user changes the selector, we are going to change not only the image file name in this property, but also this property floor price. Okay, so now what we are going to do is in this final price, which is here, instead of just displaying the amount of square feet, we are going to do this. I mean, we are going to use modifiers. With modifiers, you can transform. I mean, whenever you are getting a value from a reference, you can transform it before using it. Okay, so if I put a dot, then I can add a modifier. Okay, so then I mean, we have some mathematical modifiers. For example, we can use multiplication. So for multiplication, we use an asterisk. Then you have to put a parenthesis. Okay, I mean, the parenthesis is only, I mean, you can put a number here like 5. Okay, so this will make whenever you get the value. So, I mean, this component is listening to that value. So if the value changes, it will try to get the value inside property.ft2. Okay, but since I'm using a modifier, this is very new. I mean, we launched these mathematical modifiers like 3 days ago, something like that. Okay, so I mean, in case we are using this modifier, when the component is reading the value, before displaying the value, it will do this math operation. Okay, it will multiply it 5 times. Okay, but sometimes it has decimals, and for decimals you use a dot, right? So the problem here is that this dot can make the app be confused. Okay, because it will think that I'm going to add a new modifier, because normally the dots are used to separate like different steps on a reference name. Okay, so if you want to use decimals, you need to put this between parentheses. Okay, but the thing is that now, I mean, we don't know the value, I mean, the price of the floor, because it depends on which floor the user selected. So we can use here the name of a property, but since we want to replace something with the value of another property, we have to again use parentheses. Okay, because this, I mean, if I put here property dot floor price, okay, this inner parenthesis with the add property dot floor price, it's going to be replaced with the value inside this property. Okay, so with this operation, I'm telling to get the value from this property and then multiply it with the value inside this property. Okay, and these extra parentheses are only in case I have decimals. Okay, in this case I'm only using 1, 2, 3, 4, so I wouldn't really need this outer parentheses, but you know, just in case, let me put them. Okay, so yeah, I think this should work. Let's download the CDC first and export to APK. Okay, and after these tests, I will do the final part of this webinar. So I'm going to use a selector for the discount, okay, in case the salesperson can add a discount to the user. Okay, I will do a discount selector. Okay, so we're going to learn how to change properties of the elements in real time. Okay, let me install this first. Well, now there's going to be a weird thing because, well, it's showing $100 because I don't have a value inside square feet, and I don't have a value inside this floor price. Okay, so well, I should have added this event in the view, maybe on preload, and here I could set the default number of square feet, like add property dot ft2 and value maybe 100, for example. And I should also set a value for add property dot floor, like basic.png, and also let's set a value for the floor price, property dot floor price, and value 1, which is the one for basic. Okay, but well, anyway, let's select Aberdeen, and here let's add like 100. Oh, it's not working. Okay, I did something wrong, I guess. ft2, ft2 floor price. Oh, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, the thing is that, you see, I'm changing the value of floor price. Okay, so here when I change this, I mean, this component is not listening to property.floor price. I mean, this property is still listening to the first property. Okay, these are only modifiers. Okay, so I guess if I change the value here, now it changes. Okay, you see? It's only changing the value if I change the first property. Okay, now I have $1. Newcastle. Oh, it's okay. Now I have $4. So if I change to 100, it should show. Oh, it's not. No, it's not working. Okay, let me. Maybe the price is not floor price. Floor price. Okay, I'm doing something wrong, but property.floor is Newcastle 3, 4. Okay, or maybe I should use okay, let's try to do this. Instead of listening to FT2, I'm going to listen to final price. Okay. So, no, I don't think. I'm sure it must be like this. So I guess I'm doing, maybe it's because they didn't have an initial value. Okay, so let's try again. And I'm pretty sure I'm doing it correctly. Okay. Oh, by the way, yeah, but the thing is that, yeah, since I'm only listening to changes in property FT2, I should anyway listen to let me copy this. I should listen to final price always. So if I change the final price property, then this box will change. Okay, so now I need to change this final price value everywhere I can change the value. So for example, if I change the floor, here this is my function. Okay, here I should change the final price value. So I can use set and then property dot final price, and here I can use this. Okay, maybe this is what I was doing wrong. Undefined. So property dot ft2 dot asterisk 2 parentheses at property dot floor price. Okay, now I think this is it. Okay, but I also need to put this function, and let me copy it, whenever the user changes a text. So here, the same function. Okay, so if the user changes this property.ft2, I'm going to set the final price. Let's try again. In the meantime, maybe I can start doing the next example. So yeah, let me close this. We have the group floor. So I'm going to create a new group. It's going to be like the group discount. I mean, you don't really need to put groups, but I prefer to do groups. So if I want to change the order of a whole group, I can do it easily. Okay, so this is my group discount. It will be above the result and with a margin of 48 as well. Okay, but let me try first the example. It's done. Okay, now I have 100. So I'm going to change to $2. You see, now it works. Because now whenever I change the value here, I'm changing the whole property that this text is listening. So if I change the selector or if I change the amount of square feet, then it always recalculates the final price. You see? Okay. Okay, so for the final example, let me change the order because I want this group, the final price, I want to have it always on the top. So let me change button to 48 because I want you to see how the text changes every time I type a different number. Okay, so then I have my group discount, and for this group I'm going to have like 4 options. Okay, like 0 discount, 0%, like 5% off, 10% off, and 20% off, for example. Okay, or no, let's do it like 10, 0, 10, 20, and 30. Okay, so I'm going to have 4 options, but instead of using a selector, I'm going to just use 4 buttons. Okay, so I will use horizontal orientation for this group, and here I'm going to add 4 texts. So discount 0, it's going to show like 0%. Okay, then it's going to be like, I'm going to have 4 buttons, so each one will be 25%, and with a background color like no, this is too dark. Maybe no, let me add a new color. It's going to be like light gray. Or, well, instead of that, let me change the gray, and I will do a light gray. Okay, okay, I have 0%. Then I'm going to have text align of center, and also some padding, but only top, like 16, and bottom like 16. Okay, this is my button. So if they click on this button, I want to do two things. So I'm going to use the onClick event. And well, first I want to set a discount. So I will use set discount. No, sorry, add property dot discount. It's going to be 0%. Okay. Okay, but the thing is that, yeah, it's going to be 0%, but I want to do an inverse discount. Okay, so if they select 0%, I want to be the final price to be only like square feet times the price of the floor. Okay, so I'm really going to multiply it. I mean, I need this discount to be 1, because if I have this math operation like square feet times price of the floor times 1, then I will have no discount, right? Okay, so after setting the discount, I'm going to get this math operation on the, which was here. Okay, so remember this was my math operation. I had the square feet times the floor price. So you can add a second modifier, dot times, and I'm going to use the discount. So parentheses, double parentheses, add property dot discount. Okay, so this is my new equation. So I need to copy this also to the group floor. It was here in the select on change. So let me update this. And I'm going to copy the whole function. Okay, and put it here. Okay, so I will set the discount to 1 and then recalculate the final price. Okay, and okay, then also I will do a new thing. Okay, so if they click on this button, I want to change the color of the background of this component, the discount 0 component. So how can I do that? Well, first I will do, it's also the set function. Okay, the set function is like magic. So for changing the background of this component, I'm going to do like add element dot and then the name of my component, which is discount 0, and then dot and the property I want to change, which is the background and then capital letter color. Okay, if you put this background color with the C in uppercase, then I can change the color here. Okay, so I can use which one? I like this green, like success. So where was I? Here. So I'm going to use, well, here you can use a RGB color like FF0000, something like that, or you can use a color in the palette. So color dot success, right? Is it like this? Yeah. Okay, so that will make this text to be green. Okay, but maybe when I click on this option, there was already another discount selected, which was green. So I should put all the other text, I mean, in gray color. So I should do this. Let's copy this like 4 times. Okay, so the zero, discount 0 is going to be success. Then I want to change discount 10, and I will use gray. And also for discount 20, I mean, those don't exist yet, but I will change it. I mean, I will create them. Then discount 20 is going to be gray, and discount 30 is going to also be gray. Okay, so this is my first button. Now I'm going to clone it. Three times. So the first one is going to be discount 20. And I will change the text. No, discount 10, sorry. 10. And then I need to change the on-click event. So discount here, since I want to discount 10%, that's the same as multiplied times 0.9. Okay, this, I mean, if I multiply the square feet amount times the floor price times 0.9, this is like getting a 10% discount. So then I'm going to do this final price, same equation, and then discount 10 must be success and discount 0 must be gray. So okay, so now I have 0 gray, 10 success, 20 gray, 30 gray. Okay, so let's do next one. Is discount 20, and the discount is going to be 0.8, which is 20% discount. Okay, now I need to change 0 is going to be gray and 20 is going to be success color. Okay, and finally I'm going to change this 30, discount 30. On click is going to be 0.7, and discount 0 is going to be gray, and discount 30 is going to be success. Okay, oh, I also need to change the text 30%, then 20%, and that's all. Okay, and also I need to do like the default discount. Okay, so I'm going to copy this function, and here on the preload event I'm going to paste it, but also the discount, default discount 1, I'm going to paste it here. Okay, so I mean the 0% is activated by default. Okay, so yeah, let's download the CDC. You should always download the CDC. Whenever you make changes, please download it, because I mean we are storing everything in the in your browser's internal database, but that sometimes breaks. So it's always good to have the CDC file in your computer, okay, like a backup. So let's export to APK. Okay, and after this, this was almost the last part of this webinar. So after this, the last part is going to be very easy. I'm going to show you how to get all this and save it into an image so the salesperson can have the image and send it via email to the customer, something like that. But first, let me scan this. Hmm. I don't know what's happening. It's not opening the app. And my phone is almost broken. Oh, the screen is not working. Okay. Well, something's wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the problem is that this value, I should change these values. Not, oh no, they are on the on preload. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. In this last part, maybe I did something wrong. Let me check. Property discount, then dot property dot discount. I think everything is good. Oh no, yeah, I know the problem. Yeah, I'm trying to change the color of this element or this component before the component is on the screen because I'm using the onPreload event. So this function here for changing the color should not be here on the onPreload. I should use, let me copy it. I should put it on the onLoaded. So because the onPreload event, it's called before loading the content. So this component doesn't exist yet. Okay, so and the onLoaded, this is called right after all the components are loaded. Okay, so I should use this one here. Okay, and let's remove it from here. I mean, all others here, since I'm only changing properties, that's okay. I can do it in the onPreload. Okay, that's even better to use in the onPreload. Okay, but this one, since I'm changing the component, should be always done on the onLoaded. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so well, wait. In the meantime, I'm going to create the print button. Okay, so let me. Well, not here in this group, sorry, because I have this group. This is the main body group. So below this main body group, I'm going to add a button that will say like print or save. Okay, so I'm going to use some padding like 12, some background color like solid and primary, for example, and maybe more padding like 16. And okay, and text align center. Okay, so I want to align this button save. I mean vertical align to button. Okay, so since the height of this button is always wrap and it has some padding, I mean this is a fixed height for my button. Okay, so I'm going to change the height of this main body. Instead of wrap, I'm going to use fill. Okay, so I make sure that it always will fit the available space above this button. Okay. Yeah, and also, yeah, I should have some scroll. Okay. And also, since I'm going to take a snapshot of this whole main body, okay, I mean, it's not going to be a snapshot of the whole screen, but only one component. Okay, I want to get the content of this component. So I'm going to use this action on this button, on the on click. I'm going to use this. Okay, again, function set. And basically, I'm going to use this. So add disk. This is a new reference. So I'm telling the app that I want to save something in the external memory. I mean, outside the app. So disk dot, and then I can use here the name of the file and also folders. I imagine that I want to use a folder called budgets slash and the name of this budget, like budget.png. Okay, I could use here like the name, like something like this, like property.name, and I could have an input text, something like that, so I can use the name of the customer or something like that. But in my case, let's make it simple, budget.png. Okay, and the value, I need to, what's the value? What do I want to save inside this file? So basically, I'm going to use add element dot main body, which is the element that I want to take a snapshot from, and then just use this property shot. Okay, so with this actions function set, I'm telling to save this, I mean a snapshot of this component, the whole group, into this file. I mean budgets, I mean this is a folder and then the name of the file. Okay, and basically that's it. But well, I'm not sure if it's going to work correctly, because the thing is that normally snapshots don't work in groups that have scroll. Okay, so I guess I should put everything inside a group and that group inside the scroll. Okay, but let's try this one. So, well, since I'm finished, let me generate again the APK. Instead of installing the last one, I will install the new one. Okay, it's ready, and okay, so here's my thing. I have my discounts. Well, I think we didn't do this example with the final price on the top. I just wanted to do it so you can see how the text changes in real time. Okay, so if I can change the Aberdeen, it's changing. So I have now $50. Maybe I should put like 200. Okay, $500. Okay, so I have the Aberdeen floor and 250 square feet. So what if I have zero discount, 0%. So if I want to use 10%, I should get a price of 450, right? So let me click here. You see that it changed the color,
okay, because in the onClick event for this second text, I'm changing all the other boxes to gray and this one to success color. Okay, and you see the discount 450. So if I change to 20%, I should get $100 off. Okay, you see? And finally, well, I can change, to basic. You see that it changed. It should be $1 times 250 plus 20% off, which is $50, right? So finally, I'm going to click on save. Okay, it's asking me for permission to store files outside the app. Okay, and well, apparently nothing happened. Okay, I don't see that the image was saved. So you should always, after clicking on this, you should do something like this. For example, I have my button. Okay, after saving the image, you should do like some dialogue or something like action pop-up and view main dialog, for example. And here you should put something like the budget was saved into budget into the budget folder, for example. And the title could be like info, for example, and the buttons could be accept, for example. Okay, so now if they click on save, they will get this dialog. Okay, so it's always good to, whenever something happens, like inform the user. Okay, but let's go back to the phone. Okay, so let me go to my file, to my files. It should be, oh, my screen, internal storage, and you see now that it created the folder. It doesn't really need to exist. It will create it if it doesn't exist. When I create the disk dot budgets folder slash budget png, it will create the folder if it doesn't exist. Okay, so I click here and then click on my picture. Okay, you see this is my budget, but you see that the background is black. Okay, that's because my main body didn't have a background, so the background is transparent. So I should put a background like solid and then white. Okay, and well, finally let me change the order. So I'm going to put the group result on the bottom. Okay, well, it's on the bottom. Sometimes you need to change some value so that the simulator refreshes. That's a small bug we have. And let's put some margin again on the group result, top and 48. Okay, that's it. Okay, so this is the final test, and I will show you the app and we will be done for today. And I believe it worked even with the scroll. Okay, but sometimes if you have a group inside another group and the inner group has scroll, then it won't work. So if you have problems like getting the snapshot of an element, you should always check the scroll things. Okay, so let me scan, because some users had that problem. Okay, let's see. Let me scan it. Okay, now I have final price on the bottom, so I can have like 1,000 square feet. I have my new price. Then I'm going to select the Newcastle because it's the most expensive, so I'm asking for a 30%. Okay, so this is my budget. So if I click on save, now you see the dialog. So the budget was saved, accept. So I can go now. My phone is not working. Let's go to internal storage, budgets, and wow. Yeah, and I think now, I mean, I'm having problems with the background, and I think that's because of the scroll. Yeah, that happened to some users. So the solution to this is to have, okay, so you can add a group here inside. Group, like, let's call it like print group. I mean, the parent group is going to have scroll, okay, but this print group is not going to have scroll. I want a height of wrap, and now I'm going to put everything inside that group. So first the input, then the group floor. Uh, here, here. Then the group result. It's easier always to have it in the middle. Okay. Yeah, I think that's because groups with scroll, it seems they don't, I mean, the background in those groups is not working good. I mean, that's an Android thing, okay? So if you put this group inside the parent group, now I can set this background solid and white to the print group, okay? So let me turn it again. I'm having trouble with my screen. You should see it, it's totally broken. Okay. Open. Okay, you see the effect is almost the same. I still have my group with scroll. Okay. well, let's add like 1005 and select the high-end and 20%. This is my price. So click on save, accept, and budgets. You see now the white thing showing. Okay, you see now I have my image. So now, I mean, the salesperson, I should have added some padding inside this view as well, but now I can share this picture or move it to a folder, share it and send it via email to the customer, things like that. Okay, so this is my budget. Okay, so okay guys, so I guess this is all for today. It was longer than expected, I know, but I wanted to explain like not only one thing but a lot of things. Okay, so I hope it was useful for you. So I want to say thank you to all the viewers, all the people watching this tutorial on YouTube. Okay, and next week, I mean, now we have seen like 3 webinars. I mean, for the lesson 1, lesson 2, and lesson 3. So basically, these first 3 lessons are having everything you need to understand how Codoozer works. Okay, so if you really understood these 3 first lessons, then you are ready to make amazing apps with Codoozer. Okay, so well, next week we will start doing real action. Okay, we will start using databases. We will start integrating Firebase. Okay, so yeah, you know that real apps, if you want to use, I mean, to build the next Uber or the next, big app, you will need some backend, some server, so that you can have a big database where all the users of your app can connect to the same database. Okay, so we will start doing that next week. Okay, but you should really understand, I mean, if you didn't understand something from these first 3 lessons, you should re-watch the video. Okay, because I mean the first 3 are really important. Okay, and the rest, I mean, we're going to be complex, watching complex or learning complex things in the following webinars. Okay, but I mean, even if they look complicated, they are going to be basically the same way we did the first 3 lessons. Okay, so yeah, so that's all. Remember, if you want to be informed about next webinars, please subscribe to this channel and activate notifications. Okay, I will try to do all of them on Wednesdays, same time. So yeah, but please subscribe so you will be notified. Okay, so that's all. Thanks again and see you in the next one. Bye.